Okay guys, here we are. Revolution Aces, Wings Over the World is a level. It's not the last one though. It's... I feel like its developer got a lazy level. Like what the fuck, look at this background. It's just a bunch of shitty clouds. I mean... I don't know. That's just an assumption, because everything else has been pretty good. Like, it's been, interesting little valleys and whatever's in the background. It's been pretty cool. And then suddenly it's just like clouds, lots of big, floofy, generic clouds. That actually brings up a thing that I saw people somebody complained about, where it's like, it's a common thing now to call a developer of a video game lazy. Like, it's a criticism that people have. They say, oh, this developer's lazy because they did this thing, or they didn't, more often than not, didn't do this thing. And the person's argument was like, you shouldn't say that because they're obviously not as lazy as you are, unless you've also made video games. And I get that. Comparatively, I am lazier than someone who's worked on a development team and worked on making a complete, full video game. Like, I'm lazier than whoever made this game. But, I will say that it's valid to point out, like, design laziness when it is bad. If you notice something in a game that probably didn't take a lot of effort, and then it shows that, and it's like, this does not do any good things for the game, I think it's fair to call a developer lazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's in the context. It's not like, I'm not trying to say that... You know what I'm trying to say. The developer is obviously lazy because they took a lazy way out of doing something. But... if you can... Okay, also, these beam helicopters are bullshit because they're, like, almost impossible to dodge. But yeah, if you compare someone who isn't doing anything to someone who's done stuff, the person who has not done anything is lazier. This is just a fact of life. But that doesn't mean that the person who does things cannot be considered lazy in their own field of whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's a relative thing. That'd be like... I don't know, it'd be like a lot of things. Saying somebody who writes, like, basically stolen and cliched semi-original works of fiction is not lazy because they're writing more fiction than you are, but it's like bad and they didn't really put any effort in and did it the easiest possible way. Like, they just wrote a whole chapter that's all cliches. That's lazy. It's just not as lazy, that's the whole point. It's a relative thing. Like, I don't know. You have to compare things to it. It's always a thing. Remember how certain things are relative, and so you have to have them compare to other things. Like, any sort of product that says 30% more. 30% more than what? That's the important distinction. It doesn't matter. Like, no, see, look, we made it to the last level. This is the last level, I'm pretty sure. We can probably tell by the description. It says, the sun is setting, and the light in the atmosphere is changing. This is the Twilight of Machine, or ours. Big Black is lurking out there somewhere, just waiting to bring down the final act for all of us. Bring down the final act? You, like, mixed up what you're trying to say there. This is probably the last level. Oh, okay. This is my question. Because we couldn't fly up to the ship, but somehow we are now able to, as it points out in the first sentence here. At last, the ace pilots have the means and the will to take on the biggest fortress any of them have ever seen. The majority of the enemy wasted to get to this point. This is the largest remaining threat on the planet. Will taking it out finally end the insanity? There's only one way to find out. Okay. Yeah, see, that's not good. The person was just like, I guess that's an example of like lazy writing comparatively. This person wrote something, whereas in this time frame, I'm just playing the game that they wrote things for. But the things that they wrote was previously, oh, there's a sky fortress, but it's too sky-like for an airplane to go to. And then it's like, well, we're out of levels, so we're at the final level now. The planes can't get there. Not ever figuring out, like, how these planes could actually get there. They just said, now we can fly there. Also, I'm pretty sure the ace pilots, of which the only one we've ever really seen is me, with the exception of maybe the shop guy, like maybe he's a retired one or something like that. But the point is, I think we've always had the will. Like, all the pilots have had the will to destroy the final fortress. It's not a matter of, do we want to? It's always been, at least from what they tell me, it's been a matter of we can't do it. But now we can, for a reason. Again, it's one of those things where you probably shouldn't think too hard about it. Like, you know, like a twin-stick shooter game as a thing that I found recently, which is really fun. Maybe I'll play that. But the point is that, like, although that, you know, you shouldn't think too hard of it, they don't really give it a story for a lot of them. And that's because they realize that it doesn't need it. The whole game hinges on its gameplay. That's the only thing that matters to it. Which is pretty much the only thing that matters to this one. It's like, unless you... Oh shit, he has the same laser thingies that I do. Here's the point I'm trying to make here is this game is all about gameplay. Unless you have a story that's fantastic, like it's basically going to change the genre forever, there isn't much of a point. Like, you should just not do it. Because the only thing that a poor story for a game like this could do is detract from the game. Ends up not necessarily making the game worse, but it could make it like a slog for people to get through, because they're like, oh, this is boring and stupid. It doesn't make any sense. But yet they're like, these are the important things. Remember them. You know what you understand what I'm talking about. Said, you're watching my videos. You're a smart person. You get it. You understand these complaints. Or you could go for a hilariously, ridiculously goofy story that's over the top, as to an example of, oh man, what the hell is the game called? Oh man, I was looking specifically at Holy shit. I was looking in the genre of twin stick shooters because those games are really, really fun. And just looking for something fun in that genre to play or buy or put on my wish list, basically. And I found one that's supposedly a very fun game. Like, the gameplay is great. It's very enjoyable, and it's good. It's enjoyable, it's good. They did a good job designing levels and everything. And it's just good, is all they've said, basically. Wait, did I kill it? We beat it. That was the end of the final boss, I think. We did it! But the point that I was going to make is that this game apparently has a horrendous story that's just ridiculous. And, like, that's the point. And being like that, normally a terrible story would be like, this is a terrible story. But because, yeah, we're going to take this because we're almost exclusively using plasma weapons. Because it's so over-the-top bad, it actually adds some charm to the game. Like, it's like Troll 2 or The Room, those movies that are just so bad they're good. But in this case, it's just got a story that's so bad that's wrapped up in a package of really fun game. Apparently, I haven't played it, but that's what everybody says. I'm looking forward to it whenever I get it. But that was, while I was talking about a totally different game, the unceremonious end of this game. You've done it. You've won! As the massive station breaks apart and slowly crashes to the earth, the remaining units falter and eventually stop, falling out of the sky, sinking into the sea, laying inert on the earth. Whatever that thing was, it was allowing the machines to work. Without it, everything seems to have stopped at last. The fight is over. Even now, if anyone knows what went wrong or the origin and purpose of that floating fortress, they have not revealed it. Was it some military or government experiment gone haywire? Was it some kind of world domination scheme? Was it all some game by an insane hacker with too much time on his hands? On its hands? On their hands, please. For now, it remains a mystery. However, one thing all the remaining people can agree on this. The next time they're going to fight, they should do it the old-fashioned way, with weapons in their own hands. I mean, maybe you just shouldn't fight. Anyway, you think that actually, in a situation where robots tried to blow up the whole world and people had to band together to stop the robots from blowing up all the world, or just like, you know, I don't know if they were really, whatever, that they were a problem, and the humanity banded together, that they would be like, hey, maybe this banding together and working together is a nice thing and we don't need to kill each other so much at all? Like, that'd be a good idea. Whatever. That's, my incredibly intelligent social commentary that I added to this. Otherwise, that's the end of the game. We can play it in +1 mode, which is, you know, New Game Plus, pretty much. That's it. I beat Revolution Ace with you guys watching. I only died once. It was significantly shorter than Raptor. It's still fun. You know what? No, we're pretty much out of time here. That was good. I beat it. I'll see you guys in whatever I play next. You know, and feel free to tell me whatever you thought about this. Comments are lovely. Likes and subscriptions are wonderfully appreciated. And I don't know, whatever. I'll see you guys when I play another game. Bye-bye.